Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right everybody, thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin' Robbie Billups. This is the weekly comic book review. It's the show where I read a lot of comic books and I'll let you know what I thought about them, and we always start with the pick of the week. This week's pick of the week: All Against All, issue number 4, the penultimate issue of this masterpiece of brutal and violent and complex and dense and an exceptionally well-imagined science fiction. That's what this book is. All Against All is written by Alex Paknadel with artwork by Casper Wingard, lettering by Hassan Otsman El Hal. Those are three of the top creators in this industry, and they are giving it their all in this book. Now, the promise of this book is, what if aliens came to Earth and they basically pull one savage human onto a ship with them, and then that human kind of plays the alien, the predator, right? And he gets loosed in the ship and then just causes all kinds of violence and catastrophe. That is the promise that's been building up in the pages of this, and it really unleashes here in issue number 4. This is expertly paced, and it's perfectly crafted to put right in the position that it's in for issue number 4, the penultimate issue, where it just keeps cranking that gear shaft and just ready to let it rip. I don't know if any of that made any kind of sense. The artwork by Casper Wingard is great. It's got this visceral, raw, charcoal-y type tone to it, and absolutely the ideas that are explored here. What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to have a body? What does it mean when you're trying to balance science with humanity and being nice and decent and war and all this? Is so many different complex themes that are being played around here, and the artwork is so freaking good, and the lettering is some of the best lettering I've seen in comics in a long time. And you know me, I love good lettering. There's some good lettering out there, but Hassan Otsman El Hal's doing the work of his career here in All Against All. In fact, I think all three might be doing some of the best work of their career, and I think they've already done some of the best work of their career. All Against All. Number 4, the pick of the week. Then we got a new one, The Forged. So this one is co-written by Greg Rucka and Eric Troutman with artwork by Mike Henderson. It is a big... Oh, whoop, there was some sexy times on that spread. So it's big, it's magazine format, it utilizes this format very well. It's a very imaginative story. It's about, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of complex world building that's going on, but it's basically about the group of people that will go at an empire's behest to a planet to do something. I don't know. Some of it's still kind of vague, but I loved the characters. I loved the interactions. I loved the world that was being built here, right? Or should I say the worlds. Plus there's this like empress or something, and she's got these like telepathic servants under her who are like top dog and just tricking people. This book was really cool. Very imaginative. I love the use of the format, and pretty good bang for your buck this week. Then we got Little Monsters here with issue number 11. Why? Because these go to 11. Little Monsters has been a really delightful book from Jeff Lemire, Dustin Nguyen, Steve Wands. It's about a group of kid vampires who were told they couldn't feed on human. They had to stay put where they were. Years later, some of them find out they can feed on humans, and it makes them feel good. It makes them feel strong, and they could have left, and the adults have lied to them the entire time. So it's a betrayed group of vampire children rising into that midst of the conflict amongst themselves. I love this book. Dustin Nguyen's doing this like digital duotone type thing, but it works and it adds so much depth and dimension to the page. I absolutely love this book. It'll be ending soon, I believe, but it's definitely heading in the right direction. Little Monsters number 11 was fantastic. Then we got Art Brute issue number 4. This is a book that was released before at IDW under the title Electric Sublime. There's a nice little reference in here to that, and I thought that was kind of funny. But this is W. Maxwell Prince, Martín Morazzo. This is the team from Ice Cream Man, and this is re-releasing their previous work at Image under a new title, art brute and setting up for more in this world to be developed. There is a return, a promised return to this world, or at least that's what it seems like. Having never really read all of the Electric Sublime, I really did like this conclusion. It had a lot of intensity to it. It had a lot of weight and gravity to it. And I love the ending and a big reveal. And I thought, wow, cannot wait for more Art Brute. I thought that was exceptional. Then we got Kaya here with issue number 6. This is like an origin-specific issue where we're finding out how Kaya lost her arm, how she got this arm, what exactly is this arm. It's all tied into the whole idea of this story with her trying to protect her, I think it's her brother, right? And he's supposed to be the chosen one, but originally it was supposed to be her, and maybe her losing her arm has something to do with that. I love this book. Now, the main story is a bit short because there's a short story at the back, and it's pretty cool too, but Wes Craig is doing a phenomenal job in the pages of Kaya. Then we got I Hate Fairyland, issue number 5, a mostly silent issue of I Hate Fairyland. That's weird to say, because all comics are silent for the most part. Actually, this one's not, because it has this QR code in it for you to download or listen to a song that was written to go along with this mostly wordless comic book. But it also seems to bring an end to the first arc of the return to I Hate Fairyland, which is a volume 2. I like this book. I like the artwork. It's not Scotty Young doing the artwork, but the artwork is actually pretty frickin' solid. Brett Bean's doing a great job there. Scotty Young's doing a great job of just telling a nice, fun, charming, irreverent tale that harkens back to a lot of like tropes from, you know, fairy tales and stuff like that. But I really liked how this one came to a head. I liked the conclusion and the setup of what's to come. I thought this was a pretty solid issue. Then we got Gunslinger Spawn here, issue number 18. This is going to be your cover of the week. That's my boy Mark Spears. He's got some great Spawn covers. King Spawn's already out. Now Gunslinger Spawn. Scorched is coming up. Then Spawn. But man, this is the best one out of the bunch. I love the clown. I love the new interpretation of clown that's been recently revealed in the pages of the Spawn books. And I love Spears' interpretation. Those blues, they pop, the purple and the blue in the background, the little cat being tormented by this little clown. That's a great cover. As far as the book itself, it's awesome. It's Todd McFarlane doing a really fun, easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl, Gunslinger Spawn. He's integrated some angel power, Gunslinger has, and now he's got these wings, he's going crazy, and his buddy needs some help, and they have to go to Al, and so it's throwing back some of that conflict and dynamic between those two, but I'm having a lot of fun in the pages of Gunslinger Spawn. It's definitely a book to be reckoned with. Then we got Nemesis Reloaded, issue number 3. This is Mark Millar and Jorge Jimenez. First of all, the artwork is just absolutely exceptional. This is a complete reboot of the character of Nemesis. He was wronged at some point. His parents were killed. They revealed that in the last issue. He's got a grudge. He wants to go and just kill all the police and cause chaos. And we're building up into his backstory. And it's also got some Mark Millerisms, you know, that are just kind of okay and cliche, especially for him. But the artwork is super solid all the way through, and the artwork to me is the standout of Nemesis Reloaded. Let's jump over to Marvel. We got a new one, Hellcat, issue number 1. So this is Christopher Cantwell. This is building off of his use of this character in his Iron Man run, which I dropped out of. I just wasn't really digging it, and I wasn't really digging this Hellcat. There are moments where the artwork provides some texture that I like, but it still feels a little bit too sparse, doesn't feel kind of put together enough. I didn't really necessarily like the composition, and the story to me kind of felt boring, and for a number 1 issue, it was kind of confusing, and it doesn't do a great job of introducing this character to a new reader. And I think a new number 1 for a character who doesn't have so much popularity, I think that was needed. So I think this was definitely a faltering issue number 1. Then we got the X-Cellent issue number 1 of season 2, continuing the long form story that was established back in X-Force back in the day by Mike Allred and Pete Milligan, and continued into Ecstatics, and now into the X-Cellent. If you're a fan of the Allreds, you're going to love this book. If you liked Milligan and Allred's X-Force and Ecstatics work, this is the next logical step. This is what you want to be reading. It has some nice things to say about social media and influencing and trying to get more followers and this and that, but it's also just got this quirky sense of fun. And that's what I've always appreciated about Mike Allred's work, Laura Allred's work, and Pete Milligan when he's working with the Allreds. Then we got Miles Morales, Spider-Man, issue number 4, another fantastic issue of Miles Morales. And Cody Ziegler's doing a great job with the story, introducing a new threat, 2 Miles, making it have a lot of weight to it, and I appreciate that. The stakes are raised issue to issue, scene to scene, and the artwork, holy cow, this artist, who is Federico Vincentini, is so perfect. You have these giant double-page splashes with tons of energy. You got motion and momentum, and you even got some slower moments, and all of it's being handled so well. The coloring is amazing by Brian Valenza. Absolutely a top-notch Marvel book. It's sliding under the radar, getting a little bit more notoriety because this is one of the most dynamic, fun, and well-balanced Marvel comics out there right now. Then we got Hulk issue number 13. This is the rise of Titan Hulk. Finally takes over, right? Donny Cates has kind of stepped back from this. He's letting Ryan Ottley do the scripting, and Ryan Ottley's doing the artwork. This was the best issue of Hulk in a while. I really like this. And as promised, yes, Titan is unleashed. You find out a little bit about the recent past that we haven't known about yet, and why Titan Hulk may have become an issue. So I thought there were some cool ideas, some big, bombastic, boisterous art moments, some big, impactful, epic moments, and a really compelling ending. So I really like this, and this is setting up the conclusion of this run before Philip Kennedy Johnson and Nick Klein take over. Then we got Red Goblin here with issue number 2. This is written by Alex Packnadel, who writes All Against All, and, you know, usually when there's a writer I really respect and they're doing some, like, you know, some work over at Marvel or DC, sometimes I can get a little bit nervous. No reason to be nervous with Alex Packnadel because this book is awesome. This book, first of all, Alex is able to write a newly reformed Norman Osborn in a way that still feels true to the core of that character. This book is about Normie Osborn, the grandson of Norman Osborn, with a new symbiote called Rascal. He's the Red Goblin now. That seems silly. Like, how many, do I really want to see kid symbiotes? Yeah, I guess so. The artwork is great in this book. The story ideas are great. The way it's balanced. Jan Basaludia, I messed that up, but I'm liking it. I like the big impactful moments. I like the subtle nuances to it, so that one's working for me. Let's jump over to DC.
Hey there, Dynamite fans. Come join us here at The Experience this Monday, March 20th at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's our usual time. The whole gang will be here. Hopefully John doesn't call out again. It's annoying when he does that. But no matter what, it's going to be a great time. We're going to have all your favorite Marvel books, DC, Dynamite, and more. So please come join us. Remember, it's The Experience, March 20th. 6 p.m. Eastern. It's a Monday. Right here. Don't miss it.
And from DC, we got Superman Lost, issue number 1. So this is a new Superman miniseries, 10 issues long, written by Christopher Priest, with artwork by Carlos Paculian. Probably butchered that one too. And it was alright. It's cool enough in concept. Basically, there's a mission that the Justice League has to go on. There's a singularity involved. Superman gets sucked into it. He spends 20 years there. He comes back. He's apologizing to Lois. He's been through an ordeal. Batman's there trying to explain. And it's cool enough. We don't know what's happened to him yet. And it seems like the whole idea of the series is going to be to show us that. But the way that it's structured, it like, him and Lois are chilling. He goes off, comes right back, and he's like, I'm sorry. Lois is upset. It seems so weird because to Lois, no time has passed. And I don't understand. So there's a weird clunkiness with its structure that never really compelled me that much. I mean, this story could flourish into something interesting, and I trust Christopher Priest. He's a great writer. But, I don't know, it was just kind of okay. It just feels a little odd to have such a significance placed on something that didn't feel like it should be that significant. Then we got the Multiversity. Harley Screws Up the DCU by Frank Thierry and company. Who's the artist? Somebody Farber. And it's alright. It's a pretty decent fun. If you like your really silly, over-the-top, zany Harley Quinn type stories, that's what you're gonna get here. She's running through the multiverse, screwing it all up, and that's what's going on. It's kind of printed on this newsstand, like newsprint type stuff, which gives it the smell of the week. The artwork is fine. It's silly, it's kooky, it's goofy, and if that's the Harley you like, it's not necessarily my favorite Harley interpretations, but if that's the Harley you like, you might like that one. Then we got Lazarus Planet, Revenge of the Gods. That's right, Lazarus Planet's not over. It's not over. I know, we already had the Omega issue, and we had the epilogue with Batman vs. Robin number 5. But guess what? It's not over. Why? I don't know. But this was actually a pretty cool main story by G. Willow Wilson. Basically, all these different gods from all these different pantheons, from all these different cultures, are really upset now and decide, you know what? We're tired of humans, not respecting us, not worshiping us anymore. So let's just devastate the planet until they start worshiping and paying tribute to us again and give us vitality and life, right? That's a cool concept. The problem is, once you get to the end, it's like to be continued in Wonder Woman. What? This isn't even one shot. There's some 4-issue series, and it's continued in Wonder Woman. First of all, did we not just wrap up Lazarus Planet? We had an Omega, then we had an epilogue, which was the real ending. But then now this, and it's like into Wonder Woman, and it's like frustrating. It's kind of frustrating. And the backup story there, I just did not like. Then we got Justice Society of America, issue number 3, a long time coming. Was it worth the wait? Maybe not for you, but definitely was for me. Geoff Johns has leveled up. I've been saying that for weeks and weeks, months and months here on the channel. Ever since he's kind of stepped down from DC Films, kind of refocused his efforts into comic book work like Geiger, like Junkyard Joe, like Flashpoint Beyond. He's leveled up again, and he's putting out some of the best work. Now, Geoff Johns has already made 2 intense statements on JSA, right? 2 different runs on this title. Why do a third? Why not? Because it's awesome, and it's not just connecting to the past with the present, but it's connecting to the future, and it's telling this cool time story that's also picking up on threads from Doomsday Clock, picking up on threads from Stargirl Lost Children, picking up on threads from Flashpoint Beyond, and I really, really like that. Plus, you got a bunch of different artists, Jerry Ordway, Mikhail Hanen, but they all work together because they're all doing certain eras of the story. I'm loving it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Batman Incorporated, issue number 6, kicking off the second arc of this new Batman Incorporated book by Ed Brisson. This time we got a new artist on the book. Let's see if I can find a credits page, because they don't always like to put them in the front anymore. It's Michel Bandini. I loved it. Use of Professor Pig. Somebody has stolen something from Professor Pig. He's tearing through Gotham, trying to find it out, trying to find out where his stuff is gone. And then you've got Batman Incorporated on the mission. I love the way Ed Brisson is writing this team. I love how every member kind of has their moment to shine in the spotlight. I also love the use of a lot of stuff left dangling from Morrison, right? That is utilized so freaking well. This book has energy. It's got a scope to it. It's got a great sense of fun, but at the same time, it's dealing with some real stuff. So I really like this book. I think Batman Incorporated has slowly become one of my favorite DC books. Then we got Wildcat, issue number 5. It's an alright book. I like Matthew Rosenberg's take on these characters. I like the voice of these characters in him. There's some weird things. Mr. Majestic doesn't act like Mr. Majestic for me in here, and there's some slight revelations that are kind of starting to come to the forefront that maybe will shed some light on why some of these characters are out of character or why it's so firmly placed in the DC universe. And that's one thing that does kind of bother me, the forcefulness of making this fit in the DCU. That being said, there is a Spartan Superman moment in here that I thought was awesome as a longtime Wildcats fan. So it's all right. It's good. It's decent. It's not life-changing. It's not game-changing, but it's pretty solid. Then we got Danger Street issue number 4 from Tom King, Jorge Fornes. Yeah, it is 4. I'm liking this one. So I did like issue 1. Didn't really like issue number 2. 3 pulled me right back in. 4 continues that momentum, continues my engagement in this series. I find it very compelling. Basically, Tom King is using a bunch of characters, D-list DC characters from the first issue special stuff from back in the day. And he's forming this narrative around them. There's a mystery and all these different pieces are working around and they're starting to come together, and I'm actually really liking it. 4 issues in, I'm finding this to be a treat. I'm finding it to be intriguing, engaging, and captivating. So there you go. From IDW, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin, The Lost Years. So this is a follow-up and a prequel to The Last Ronin. So it's got a tiny little bit of story that's set post Last Ronin, where you got Casey and April's daughter basically training a new generation of Ninja Turtles, right? And then you've got the past stuff where it shows what Michelangelo was up to before the start of Last Ronin and after the revelations that the Last Ronin gave us as to what happened with his brothers and Splinter and all that stuff. It's a fun book. It's kind of wordy. It's not as dynamic as it could be, but it's not bad. I have a lot of fun with it. And this Eastman cover, this wraparound, yeah, I'm all for that. Then we got Agent of WORLDE issue number 4. This is the final issue for now of this absolutely, utterly brilliant book from Dennis Camp, Filia Bertukin, Jason Wordie, and Hassan Otsman El How. The artwork in this book is insane with detail. It's got a Mobius kind of influence to it, very European, so much eye candy. You could just sit here for hours looking at every single bit. I love this book. Now, it's not a solid ending. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't expect this to be wrapping everything up in a nice little bow, because I do believe that the intention is to continue this book at some point, and I want them to, because the previous issues have all been very self-contained, and so is this one, and it says a lot about Holiday, right? So there's some stuff there, and I've read this a few times, that I really think you can kind of dig out of it, and the artwork, it's just amazing. And Jason Wordie, the self-loathing he must have to take on a project like this. That's like, what are you like? Why do you like hurting yourself so much, man? There's a lot of line work, and the coloring works so freaking well for it. Lots of crazy ideas. But whereas the other ones felt a little bit more self-contained, this one feels a bit more setup. And I think there's some subtle stuff that maybe I'm not necessarily super picking up on yet, but this was almost the pick of the week. But All Against All went all out against all y'all. Agent of World number 4, though, a great chapter and one of my favorite comics out there right now. Definitely worth the wait. Then we got By the Horns, Dark Earth, issue number 7. This is a really great issue. Evelyn, who's the big eyeball creature, it's all from her journal, from her perspective, and it's just basically the journey of Elodie and her crew as they're going through this magical land. Amazing, beautiful artwork from Jason Murr. They're all like, you know, splash pages, double page spreads, some really fantastic artwork, and then it's got a very resonating, touching thread of friendship, love, and loyalty throughout, and then we get to the end, perfect send-off into the next issue. So, By the Horns, Dark Earth continues to be one of the best books on the shelves. Category 0 Conflict issue number 4 is here from Adem Kamel and Andre, I think it's Andre Lima. Nope, it's Tone Lima. Why do I keep thinking it's Andre Lima? It's not. Anyway, Category 0 Conflict. I'm liking this series. I need to go back and reread it all, because I can make the connections in my head, and I like where we're going. I would like maybe a little bit more oomph, like a little bit more stuff to happen. It feels like it's just a lot of setup, but Adem said in my last video where I talked about this, in the comments, he had mentioned that there's a plan. Trust us, we're going to get there. There's still plenty of time, and I trust you, because I really do like this world, and we are starting to understand more about this. Basically, they're trying to cure disease, and it causes this, like, pandemic, and then people come out of it, like 1% of them have powers, and the government's kind of trying to control them, and you got these different factions kind of moving this. So we're setting up this major conflict that's about to happen, and pretty freaking cool, actually. So I like the book. I just need to go back, reread everything, and reconnect it. And Adem, I know that you've hooked me up, so I don't have to go digging. You've hooked me up with some digital, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. Behold Behemoth, issue number 4. Pretty solid book. This is really good. It's by Tate Brumball, Nick Robles. The artwork is absolutely phenomenal. It's about the end of the world, right? And it's this little girl who can turn into this giant behemoth, or this giant monsters within her. It can unleash and kill people, cause massive destruction. A dude who's pretty much lost everything is kind of tasked with being her, in charge of her, gathering, you know, carrying her across the, wherever they're going. Their journey is like the apocalypse, right? But there is so much exploration being done in this issue, on this girl, on this dude, on their relationship to each other, how it ties in, and there's some revelations that really put some cracks in the foundation of what they're doing, of their bond, of their friendship. And I'm loving this book, and a lot of setup for what's to come. And the artwork is absolutely top-notch. Harrower, issue number 2. This is from Justin Jordan and Bram Revel. I didn't hardly remember anything about issue number 1, but I did remember that issue number 1 I thought was all right, but I did like the end. I read issue number 2, and I wasn't really digging it at first, and then all of a sudden, the Harrower, who's like a slasher, right? So it's like the anniversary of some slasher murder in this town. These kids are having a party, and all of a sudden the Harrower just shows up and just starts slaughtering then I got really into the book, because that's hardcore, cool, fun slasher stuff. And then a nice little twist at the end, once again, to have me wanting to come back to see issue number 3. Then we've got Berserker, issue number 12. It's the final issue of Berserker. It's taken a while, but it's here. And it's not the ending I was anticipating, I'll tell you that. And since it is ending, even though there's some one-shots that are coming up and it doesn't feel like this story's really quite over, I guess I just, for one more time, so did he just say making fuck? Okay. Just checking. Anyway, Berserker, an interesting ending. One that I gotta, like, kind of let resonate with me for a little bit. It took me by surprise. There's a lot of action, and then there's a lot of, like, build-up and setup for other things to come. It's interesting, but because this book's been so irregular in its schedule, I have disconnected at somewhere through the thread of what's going on with these characters. And so I want to sit down now, grab my issues, and reread them all. Because I like Berserker, I like the energy that Ron Garney provides with the artwork. And of course, Matt Kent, Keanu Reeves. It was not the ending I expected, but I also really appreciate that. So let me know what you thought about the ending of Berserker down there. Then we got Darkwing Duck, issue number 3, another fantastic issue of Darkwing Duck. If you were a fan of that original series, you definitely want to check this out. It's written by Amanda Dibert, who was one of the original script writers on that show. This one has an appearance from Morgana. I always loved her watching the show. Darkwing Duck has decided to give up the cape, hang up the cape and cowl, and just be a father and be an inventor and all this kind of stuff. So he goes to reconnect with Morgana, and things are going crazy. And I like it. I really like this book. It's got that fun, light kind of sense to it, but it's also kind of building a narrative and guiding it into issue to issue. So what started off as simple, just self-contained stories, and it still has that kind of vibe to it, it's building up into something larger, and I have a lot of fun with that. Then we got Mad Balls versus Garbage Pail Kids. Time again, slime again. I love the Mad Balls. I love the Garbage Pail Kids. This is just silly, stupid, charming fun, where they always get in these situations where the Mad Balls and Garbage Pail Kids fight, and then they realize at the end that they got to work together. But I love it. There's like a pirate ship thing. There's one where they're all like painting over all these artists and stuff. So it's really a really fun issue. I liked it. Mad Balls versus Garbage Pail Kid. The nostalgia on that really works. Then we got Spy Superb issue number 3. This is the final issue of Spy Superb for now, but it does seem like it sets up some more stuff to come. Matt Kent's done a great job with this series. Basically, Spy Superb is this mythical figure in the spy world. Like, nobody's ever been able to find out who they are. Nobody's been able to stop them. And it's because Spy Superb is not just one person. It's always somebody who doesn't even know that they're on a spy mission. Just a patsy, right? And then one dude who thinks way too highly of himself winds up in the midst of this spy superbia. And the way this story wraps up was very funny, very cool. And I love how Matt Kent told the story through the visuals. I thought Spy Superb was rather superb. So let's recap. Spy Superb was superb. Mad Balls versus Garbage Pail Kids is always fun to me. Darkwing Duck, loving that book. Berserker, interesting ending. I gotta let that one sink in. Harrower, good slashing times, right? Behold, Behemoth has a lot of depth to it, and I'm loving it. Category 0 conflict is build up, build up, build up. By the Horns, Dark Earth was a very solid issue this time. Agent of World, one of the best books of the year so far. That is awesome. Last Ronin, Lost Years. It's not the greatest, but it's fun. Danger Street, loving what Tom King is doing right there so far. Wildcat still could not be quite so placed into the DC universe. Batman Incorporated absolutely slaps. Justice Society of America is awesome. Lazarus Planet, don't get me started. Then we got Harley Saves the DCU. That was your smell of the week. Superman Lost, a little clunky, but we'll see where it develops. Red Goblin, loved that. Hulk, loved that. Miles Morales Spider-Man, freaking extremely loved that. Then we got the X-Cellent. I thought it was rather good. Yeah. Hellcat, the only Marvel book I didn't really like this week. So that was pretty cool. Nemesis is all about the art for me. The story's kind of dumb. But then we got Gunslinger Spawn. I'm loving both the art and the cover and the story. And that's the cover of the week. Mark Spears, baby. Then we got I Hate Fairyland. Really liking this book. Kaya is exceptional. Art Brute had a great conclusion and set up for a future series. Little Monsters. Wow. Loving that one. The Forged. That's got a good smell too. It's also got some hotness in it. Just gonna say that, okay? Then we got All Against All, though. That was the pick of the week. Love the story, the concept, the characters. Love the artwork. Love the approach, experimentation from Casper Wingard and from letterer Hassan Osman El Hal. That was your pick of the week. That's what I read. That's what I thought. What are you reading? What are you digging? What are you thinking? Let us know in the comments down below, and be sure to check us out at patreon.com/PCP if you want to help support the channel. Also, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and all that jazz. I've been Rockin' Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. Station, pop, pop, boom.